The Apprentice was the biggest thing on TV, and Trump, every other celebrity had a publicist that followed them around and said, you can't say this, you can't do that, you can't use this. They'd try to shape your message. Trump's publicist literally just carried like a bag for him because Trump is going to do what Trump's going to want to do. He doesn't care. So he was a soundbite machine. I was with him 3 days a week. And when I wasn't with him, my boss would say, how do you get the next thing with Trump? We need him every day if we can have him. Because he's saying things like, remember the horrible stuff he said about Rosie? But every entertainment show couldn't wait to run that as a headline.
Of course.
Right? No one does this.
Amazing.
Except Trump. He's
he
gold for ratings.
Oh, he's unbelievable. In fact, he's helped.
So I was constantly tasked with get on his plane, get into his apartment, go on a house tour with him. One of the great things I did with Donald Trump, still available online. Check it out. We went voting together in 2004, Bush-Kerry. And we went voting together, and we went to 4 different polling places, and he wasn't registered at any of them. It was hysterical, and he kept getting furious. So I just did all these things. And
did you have fun?
It was part of my job. Like I got promoted. I ultimately became the host of the show because of the amazing things I did with Donald Trump. I dressed up in disguise and snuck into the season 2 auditions of The Apprentice. And I auditioned as a mustache, and I had a cowboy hat on. I called myself Richard Broom, and I made my way over to a table, and Donald was sitting at the table, and I sat down with 8 other strangers. And as he asked questions of everybody, to see if they'd be a part of the cast.
No way.
And he looks at me and he goes, "You're a weird-looking fellow." He take off your hat. I took it off, and he goes, "If I don't know that's Billy Bush, I don't know." We had a huge laugh. I mean, let me tell you something. Donald Trump was the greatest reality television host ever. Ever. He was, especially for our show and for that show. That show began as something else, and it turned out, you know what? Why don't we, instead of doing 15 minutes of the boardroom at the end, let's do 15 minutes of stupid lemonade sales and then 55 minutes or 45 minutes of the boardroom at the end, because that's what people really want to see.
Because the drama.
The drama. Trump going, "Look, Brandy, I can't believe it. You look like, can you believe what Sarah said about you? It's terrible. She shouldn't say that about you. Sarah, you look like a nice person. Why would you do that to Brandy?" And he'd just pit these fights, right? And people loved it. Yeah.
Amazing. How do travelers stay prepared for the unexpected? Well, when you're flying across the country or driving for hours crammed into crowded spaces, and yet most people don't think what they do if they got sick or someone they love got sick. Have you thought about that? Well, now it's the holidays. It's the busiest travel time of the year, and it's also flu season. Everyone's stressed. People are coughing. And if you're unlucky, you could find yourself ill in a place where you need medication. So what do you do about that? Well, thankfully, there's a solution. It's called Jase Go. Jase, J-A-S-E, Go. It's a compact kit of essential prescription medications for all of those unexpected health emergencies. For infections, food poisoning, and more. It's designed to go wherever you go. Think about that. Snow hits, pharmacies close, flights get delayed, bad things happen. If you have Jase Go, you're covered. There's no scrambling, no worrying. You can be content because you've got peace of mind. So don't wait until you're stuck without essential medications. It's Christmas vacation. Is there going to be an ear infection? Probably. So go to Jase. Go to jase.com/go, jase.com/go. Use the code Tucker to get your Jase Go with a special discount. Jase.com/go, code Tucker.
This is a story that'll blow your mind. My brother is a great healthcare executive. Built a company called
Famous.
Athena Health. The chairman of his board at one point became Jeff Immelt, who became the chairman of my brother's board. My brother reported to him
From GE.
as the CEO. Yeah, from GE, and GE, owned NBC long before when The Apprentice was just coming on. And Donald wanted his contract renegotiated, and he demanded, forget Jeff Zucker and the NBC people. I want Immelt to do this with me. I want the CEO of GE to do my second-year deal. And Immelt told my brother, he's like, if there were cameras at that lunch or a little hidden microphone at that lunch, I guess I would have been fired, because you just go with what Trump wants to go with.
Yeah.
And they were similar. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Because here's one thing about Trump. His loyalty isn't long. if I were to say to him, hey, how dare you talk like that? Like, I'm not going to be on this bus. You shouldn't say such terrible things. I'm leaving. And I took a moral stand and walked out or whatever I did. Get rid of Billy Bush. We don't like him. We're doing Entertainment Tonight only now. That's it. And then you're done. So literally my job, hired to, was to make sure we had him as often as possible and get great sound bites and kick ass.
Did you ever hear any NBC executives complain about him or his politics?
No, but I do know that, look, he was placated as every big star of every big show in the business is, all the way up to the, ivory tower. 100%. From Jeff Zucker to Jeff Immelt. The whole, here's a beautiful irony. Jeff Zucker, who I like, was running the show at NBC Entertainment. He's the one who he built this. If Trump is Frankenstein, he built him in the laboratory. And they built this Apprentice, and they made him the wheeling and dealing machine on his helicopter, this incredible image. Can you imagine a better image on network television crafted for you than that one? And Zucker then became, years later, the head of the resistance. The guy that built him then became the head of the resistance at CNN.
It's amazing.
It's amazing in a matter of 10 years. Like this recording of this bus tape that was I would have been fired. It had leaked out then for hurting the star. 11 years later, and a lawsuit over Miss Universe and whatever else, NBC feels completely differently about Donald Trump, and now it's get him at all costs. Get him out of this presidential race at all costs. I don't care who we have to kill or shoot in the head on the way, including Billy Bush, no problem. Get rid of him. So it's
an incredible. There was so much going on during that period that it of course the tape and that one phrase still kind of hangs in the air, but the actual story never really got told. There was too much chaos.
No, it's never been told.
It was like the opening salvos of a war, and like an atrocity was left unexamined.
No, and I was a sitting duck, right? It was a hot time. People were feeling really strongly, as they still are. Trump is, it's like country music, love him or hate him, right? I mean.
So what was that? So you move over, and that I just want to say this for the third time, that tape after you spoke to Rob about it, to your EP about it, the next day was never mentioned again for 11 years.
No, never mentioned again. It was intermittently over the years. You'd be like, God, that reminds me. Remember the time that Trump told me about that? But it was always about Nancy O'Dell. Maybe every 3 years or something.
Right.
Maybe 5 times total between 2005 and 2016.
The Nancy O'Dell part,
but always as a reference because Trump said something that reminded me of the whole thing.
Was Trump political, by the way? Was he regarded as political when he was the host of The Apprentice?
No. God, no. No.
Not at all.
The idea that if you want to talk about just bad luck in general, the idea that Donald Trump in 2005 would one day run for president, and he's talked about it forever, but he would do it to just mix things up.
He called me right before he announced and said, I'm going to announce, and I laughed.
Yeah.
Because I'd known him all these years, and I thought of Trump as a person who was not serious about politics, who was going to use it to sell a book or promote a show or whatever.
Or reboot the image after The Apprentice had run its course.
That's
it was very successful.
So I literally laughed at him when he called me. I was in the car. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And he was totally calm. And he said, yep, I see what you're saying, but I think this time I'm going to surprise you. And he sounded totally different. But I agree with you. You knew him much better than I did.
When he came down the escalator, I said, oh my God, this is going to be unbelievable. He's having so much fun.
Exactly.
This is a joke. He's having fun. And all of a sudden, everything he said that people didn't like, he got more popular. And he's like, what? I don't think he was surprised more than anyone. Like, wait a minute. They like me more? Okay. And he just steamrolled everybody.
So, wow, man, it's also amazing in retrospect. But did he, and all the time you spent with him, did he ever say anything you thought was political at all?
No.
Yeah, interesting.
Never. No, it was not a chance. We went voting in 2004, the beginning of The Apprentice, and I remember him laughing. I said, have you endorsed one of the, have you given money to one of the candidates? Are you behind one of them? He goes, I am. I said, to which one? He goes, I can't tell you that. I said, is there a chance that it's both of them? And he said, there is. Like he had given money to both guys. You're my guy, here's a check. You're my guy, here's a check. Remember, Trump was open about that back in the day. He was like, look, I wanted my businesses to thrive. So I played nice with everybody on both sides. Remember his wedding in 2005 with Melania. There's Bill and Hillary Clinton and, everyone's there kissing the ring.
Amazing. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.